What's going on? Happy Monday. It's Kevin Kenny. We are coming to you live from New York City. This is the Build series. And we should have named this, I think, Siblings Week on the show. Last week, we had the brother-sister duo of Broods, and now we have two brothers and a sister, a trio that absolutely blew up on America's Got Talent this past year. 80 million plus views for their audition video online, and their debut album, self-titled We Three, is out and available now. Please, let's give a very warm Build welcome to We Three. Welcome to Build.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome to New York. I was actually going to ask you, where did your audition take place? Because I know sometimes I think they tape that show in New York City.
Yeah, this one was Pasadena.
Okay, so you did it out west.
Yep.
And when did that actually happen? Because these TV shows, they can be confusing, right? They air at a certain point, but then they happen at a certain point. So, I mean, how far back are we going now with the
that was
first
back
audition?
in March.
Almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, so not that
the
long
process
ago.
starts so far in advance, and we can't say anything.
Right.
Like to everybody that's like, what's going on in your life? We're like, nothing.
It must be so crazy, right?
We're crazy, yeah.
So you auditioned in Pasadena, but you guys are actually from Portland, Oregon, originally. And when I think of Portland, Oregon, I think of two of my favorite artists growing up, Elliott Smith and Everclear, a rock band from the 90s, right?
Yeah.
But what did you guys grow up listening to in Portland?
Oh man, growing up, we were huge fans of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
I think it's because our dad listened to it,
Yeah.
and so we were just super into those guys.
Yep.
We love Chicago
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Such a great foundation, yeah.
I don't think that had anything to do with the area we were in, though.
No, it really
was just
did.
like, that's what we listened to.
Portland, a hotbed for Earth, Wind, and Fire, right, back then?
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, you guys come from a musical family. You know, it was really your mom and your dad met while kind of being in a band together. Your mom was the sound tech for the band, I understand, and then your dad was in the band. What did your dad do in the band?
He was the lead guitarist, and I think
Okay.
the only guitarist actually for most of the time, and then one of the lead vocalists as well. And in a band with his siblings also, and they toured a little bit and did some stuff in the Pacific Northwest. And Mom was the sound lady, and we grew up around that.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys, do you feel that music or musical talent, musicality, right, is it genetic at all in your opinion? Did you guys feel like growing up, maybe coming from a musical family, you took to music maybe quicker than your peers did?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think, especially when we were playing together, I mean, we have to work really hard. Some people ask, like, is this all natural? Did you have to work at it? I mean, I think we had to work at it, honestly. I would say that for sure. But when it comes to playing together, there's a lot of things you don't have to talk about. You just know what the one person's gonna do because you grew up doing it forever. So I think once we would play with other musicians and then come back to each other, we're like, it's very different playing with us. We just don't have to work as hard. We don't have to
And I
think
think
about
we'd
it.
push each other too. We'd hear one person practicing, because we all live in the same house. And we're like, oh, that was really good. I should up my game. And so things like that. We constantly would push each other.
Totally.
And not in like a competitive way, which is weird. More like, I respect you, and I want to make sure if you're playing at that level, I got to play at that level to be playing with you, kind of a thing.
Well, I mean, like in all seriousness, I made a joke when Broods was on, their brother-sister duo from New Zealand last week, and I was joking about Oasis, and the Kinks and all these famous like sibling groups that never work out, right? They all implode, but you guys do it so beautifully, and you're in such great harmony. It seems both musically and personally. How do you make it work? Like, was it tough growing up? Like, we all go through things with our siblings, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard to pinpoint it. I mean, I feel like that we just don't know anything else.
Okay.
We just had great examples, with our parents and our family. We grew up kind of in a community, so we had a lot of family and friends around, 9 cousins living in town, and so we felt like we grew up with a bunch of brothers and sisters. And so, I don't know, we just don't know anything different.
And I think we love doing this so much that we want to figure out what we have to do to make it work. And we do enjoy each other, but we also know we're siblings. We need space sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely the moments on stage really make everything worth it. There's just,
yeah.
like she was saying, there's just a connection. We just get it. We don't have to, say something with words. We all just know what we're going to do. And those moments on stage make everything else worth it.
Oh, yeah. And you guys are so great on stage. I mean, I think the first review you got from Simon Cowell, who's one of the toughest judges in the music industry, is like, wow, that sounds like it does on the record, right?
Which is just like, oh my gosh.
I mean, please, put it into words.
I was like, that's the coolest compliment you could have given us, because we're a live band and we do this live. Like, I don't even know. We got off the stage and we were like, that was really
Probably
cool.
the coolest.
Yeah, just so neat. Talk about the nerves, though, heading into that, because it's funny. It's like you see this stage, you see this crowd, you see this panel on television for years. I mean, this is one of the most popular shows on TV. We've all seen it. What does it feel like, in your own words, to step out onto that stage? Of course, it's surreal. So past the term surreal, what does it actually feel like?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think going backstage, we were all pretty nervous, but it was pretty normal. But then you walk out and you expect, okay, we can do this. You've seen them on TV. It's not that much different, because we watched the show. But I swear, we walked out on that stage, and instantly my brain was like, they look like gods. The way they are lit up, instantly it was like, I am so nervous all of a sudden. And I have to sing in front of you now?
Yeah, it was different. Yeah, it was insane. And then, but we all talked about the fact that, okay, we've never done something like this before. We're going to be crazy nervous. But the thing that's familiar is playing. So the second we start the song, we told ourselves it's going to feel normal. And it did. The second we started the song, I was like, this is where we're comfortable. So.
Is there any advice you can impart if there's a young musician watching us right now on Build of how to not let, sort of, in so few words, to own the moment and not let the moment own you, Joshua?
Perform. Get it there and do it. I mean, I think that was one of the biggest things. We had performed in front of that big of an audience before, but the difference was the judges and the millions and millions of people who were going to be watching it. That was easier to disconnect from a little bit, but the judges, that was a big thing. But just having performed so many times before, you play that first chord, boom. You just shift it in gear and you just go. And you just are able to enjoy the moment.
And then
So
I
that's what I'd say.
Also remembering that there are so many talented people out there, but no one's done it like you.
Right.
You are unique. And even if, you're singing a song that someone has sang before, no one sang it just like you.
Who first taught you, I'm sorry, Bethany, who first taught you that lesson, Manny?
Oh, man. That's a great question.
Because that's an important one to master, and you seem like you know.
I feel like it was one of my guitar teachers growing up, playing solos and stuff like that they're showing me. It's like you have your own voice, and always remember that if you're playing something same way, it's no one's done it like you. And that's helped me get on a stage like that and do that. I wish I had a specific person. I believe it was a guitar teacher growing up.
I'm just happy you have it now. Bethany, what were you about to say?
Well, I was going to say that I think one of the coolest parts we walked away from the show was realizing that we didn't have to change to get recognized like we did on the show. And so going into it being like, sometimes opportunities will work out and sometimes they won't. But when they work out, when you're just being yourself and doing you, that's the coolest thing,
Oh, it's the best.
So not being willing to compromise, because some things will time out for the right reasons, and for us, it was the right time. We were like, sweet, we didn't change for this. This is awesome. Yeah.
No, it's really an accomplishment in and of itself. I was watching your audition performance, leading up to our chat today, and it was like, it's so easy to overplay in that situation, right? Play too fast, play too loud, over sing, but no, you guys are so comfortable in your own skin. Getting back to the band that your dad was in, your mom was sound tech for, I know that your dad, pretty quickly after you guys, came along, he became a garbage man. But did you guys ever have a chance to perform with that band, or was it just you guys were too young, or?
That kind of was the band that, as we were growing up, we'd take lessons, and they would do, local shows. There was a fireworks show that they do every year. And it was, if you got proficient enough on a song, you could perform in that band. You could perform that song that night. So it was always kind of the goal to, learn this song. I remember I learned a Van Halen song on the guitar, and I was able to play it at the fireworks show.
That's great.
That
Do you remember
night.
what Van Halen song?
It was Eruption by Van Halen.
Dude, at 10?
Yeah, it was the tough one.
Don't ask me to play it now, because I haven't played it in a long time. But
No, the songs were really hard songs. I had to go in and listen to Boston tracks just with my ears, no chord chart in front of me, and I had to pick out the bass line. And I remember being so frustrated. I was like, this is so hard. And I look back and I'm like, that was so good for me, though.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a lot of opportunity. I think that was one thing that was cool that Dad and Mom did really well, is they provided opportunity for us. So.
Well, it's funny, America might look at AGT as the pinnacle, right, and all the pressure. But I'm sure as a 10-year-old playing with your dad, that's way more pressure than an NBC primetime show could ever be, right?
no, it's true. And then all your friends are out there.
You know what I'm saying? It's
watching and stuff. And so those really did teach you how to swallow your nerves a bit and realize that they're always going to be there. The nerves are always going to be there. It's learning how to deal with them.
Totally, and kind of focus the nerves, right, and fuel them towards positivity as opposed to freezing up.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah. You guys, your influences has of course grown since Boston and Van Halen, and I wanted to kind of dive in because it's cool. When you guys are a new act and your debut album is out, you kind of get to know a band a little bit better. I know, Bethany, you're a big fan of Julia Michaels right now. You just feel like she's sort of pushing boundaries. I understand.
Yeah, I think with lyrics and just she's very honest with how she gets her songs across in a very unique way. And I think sometimes when I try to write and be too intentional, it doesn't work. But when I just write from exactly where I'm at and I don't overthink it, that's when stuff will work. And I feel like that's always what she does. And we like to say honesty when it comes to writing is the best policy. Sometimes you got to get through a lot of crappy songs to get there, but always being honest, and that's the stuff we wanted to put on the record, was honest in the moment songs. Yeah.
Manny, you have one of my favorite, I've never heard this before, but one of my favorite analogies when it comes to songwriting, this idea of being in a fog.
Yeah.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just not someone who likes to plan in general. I love to just go with the flow. That's just my personality.
Why are you laughing,
So-
Bethany? He doesn't like the plan?
If things get too organized in rehearsals, like he's like, okay, we'll do this, this, and this, and Manuel like shuts down and just starts playing his guitar, and he's like, I can't function like this. So we have to find this balance of it can't be too organized, because then the free flowing like vibes go away. So it makes me laugh.
But wait, then you're the late guy, I understand, right? You're always
He's
late.
way better now.
Not as much anymore. Not as
Out
much
everybody.
anymore. Manuel's been quite late
I
more
have.
frequently.
He's the one that gets lost. We always lose him.
Right before we came out,
before we
we
go.
were like, "Where's Joshua?"
I get
don't
distracted
know.
by all the cool things. There's so many cool things.
You'll get lost before you go on stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gosh,
Now,
so
is that
many
partly
times.
because you need to kind of get your mind right and maybe go off in your own area?
Usually
Yeah, that's
because
why.
he
No,
forgot
he just
to
gets lost.
He's running to go
Zone.
find his in-ears or something like that.
Why? I'm late to everything, so this is sort of like a touch point for me. Why are you late when you're late?
For me, it's usually, oh gosh,
You gotta make some food before you go.
yeah.
Is it like over planning and like underestimating the time? Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
it's
trying to figure out.
usually I like to cook my breakfast in the morning,
Okay.
and I'm really particular about my breakfast in
Right.
the morning, and I can go, oh no, I got time for my breakfast. And then I have like 10 minutes to get somewhere, and it's like, I shouldn't have cooked my breakfast. I should have just grabbed the bar and went.
Yeah, Manuel, what happens when it's the afternoon or the evening and you're late?
That's very true.
My lunch.
Ooh, shots fired.
That's amazing. The
Right.
lyrics are really a strong suit on the debut album, and also something you guys are all passionate about. I know
Yeah.
specifically, Manny, getting back to you. 21 Pilots is a big source of inspiration, and it's specifically their lyrics. What do you love about their lyrics?
Well, I think they're talking about such a broad range of stuff, and they go really in depth about it. And I remember the first time I heard "Stressed Out," I loved just the song in general, but then I went and looked up the lyrics and was like, oh my gosh, everybody can relate to this.
Yeah.
And I think just the fact that they use the word "stressed out," it's like everybody in the world can relate to "I'm stressed out." It's like, it's genius. And it just comes back to honesty and being real, I think. That's what it comes back to.
Do you have a favorite Pilot song or like a favorite Pilot's lyric maybe that comes to mind?
Oh, man.
I don't put you on the spot.
No. I love their song, Nico and the Niners. I think that's
Okay.
a great one as far as like a song. And then I think my favorite line of theirs is "I'm best friends with my house." I know it's weird,
Okay.
but I think it's such a unique way to say that I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
And I just love sitting here. When they used that lyric, I was just blown away by how instantly you get what they're saying.
Yeah.
But it was said in such an artistic way.
I'm gonna steal that now when people ask me what I did over the weekend. No. I'm
out
just
with my
best friends with
house.
my house. That's what I was hanging out. Joshua, who are some influences of yours right now? Like just musically.
Yeah, the Pilots are a huge influence for me right now. I really like their stuff, lyrically, and then just sonically. And then also, I mean, Josh is a great drummer, and he does things that are really unique in the way that he and Tyler work together. It's just amazing. And so I love the drum aspect of Pilots. So them, but then also a guy named Jack Garrett.
Yeah, from the UK. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, not as many people know about him, but I just love his stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to break here.
I
in a
can't
bigger
wait.
way.
I know.
He's
yeah.
great.
And he's working on a new project now, it looks like.
Oh,
He's
that's
been
awesome.
dropping some hints about it.
Did you grow up like with certain drummers you did idolize? Like, I mean, I don't want to throw any out that Taylor Hawkins or like a Travis Barker or like was there a style of drumming that kind of you gravitated towards or?
I think that, well, we're also big we grew up listening to Tower of Power, a lot of
Okay.
Tower of Power. And so David Garibaldi was a big influence early on. And I mean, every drummer says Buddy Rich, But yeah, I think David Garibaldi was a big one in how he was like grooves. He's just the groove master, and he would come up with these grooves that were just insane. Like, what is hip? The groove for what is hip is so unique. And so anyway, he's one definitely for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint like a handful, but I guess I would say Buddy Rich is one. But then also Mel Brown from from Portland. He toured with Diana Ross and stuff. I got to study with him for a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
Big jazz drummer. He's a jazz legend. He's just an amazing showman. He's nicknamed the Gentleman of Jazz.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Super classy guy, amazing guy to work with, and I got to study with him for like 5 years. It was amazing. So anyway, he's a big influence of mine as well.
That's such a strong foundation, I think, as we go down the line. That's apparent. I want to talk about that. I mentioned the 80 million plus views. I mean, I don't know what it's at now. Last time I checked, it was over 80 million for the audition. And the song you did, if I'm not mistaken, is "Heaven's Not Too Far." Now, if you've told the story, I'm sure countless times, but if you wouldn't mind sharing it now on Build, this came from an incredibly personal place, and you can take it away, Manny.
Yeah, no, this song, after our mom had passed, a lot of people were bringing up, man, you're probably writing tons and tons and tons of songs. And because they knew we were songwriters. And I hadn't written a song about her. It took probably a year since she passed. And I don't know why necessarily. I felt like I tried a couple times, but none of them felt good enough. And then eventually I just sat down at the piano and played those first opening chords, was just playing. That's usually where I start, is just to create an atmosphere. And then the concept of, because I sang the first lyrics, "Honey, I Thought You Should Know." And then the concept of writing it from her perspective popped into my brain, and instantly the song was written in about an hour. And it just flowed. It just felt so natural. I felt like I disappeared for a bit. I don't really have a whole lot of memory writing it, just because it happened so quickly. But then sharing it with them was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was after a long rehearsal, we were exhausted, and he came in and was like, "Can I show you guys this song before we leave?" And I remember thinking, I gotta go, but okay, sure. Real quick. And
Make it fast.
Yeah, and he sat down and he said the first word, and I instantly knew what it was about, because that's what she called us. So it was like, oh, crap, okay. And we're not super emotional people. I mean, outwardly, we just aren't, and I think everybody deals differently. It's just how we are. And I bawled, and that's just not me. And he started crying, and that's not him at all. And so this song transported us to a time, and we like to say it helped us deal with some stuff that maybe we hadn't been dealing with in that moment. I won't forget that night. I had to leave the room. I was like heaving, crying. I came back in and I was like, why did you do that to me? Like, it messed me up for a couple days. But we looked at it as a gift. And I think after the show, a lot of people reached out to us saying, you helped me grieve with this song, which was huge. And, it was the same for us. It was a way to process what it's like going through something like that. Right. So...
I'm sure there could very well be a different answer for each of you, so please feel free. I want to ask you, what is the lasting lesson, looking back now, that you think Mom left you with?
Oh, man, it's a great question. I think for me, it was go with the flow, and there's a silver lining in whatever situation you're in. There's always the silver lining for every situation you're in. But I think the biggest thing that she left me was go with the flow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bethany.
She was not a very stressed person. She struggled a lot in her head at times of overthinking things, and we did too. So it wasn't like she didn't deal with stuff, but she, kind of like he said, just really enjoyed life and just found a way to enjoy any situation that she was in. So I think that's it. We just really like to enjoy life, and that's big thing I took from her.
And it's funny, we can see both of those lessons like in your AGT performance, right? You're going with the flow and you're not taking things too seriously. You're just, as you said before, Josh, you're just playing the music, right? What's the lasting lesson from Mom for you, Josh?
Not to be cheesy, but I think that for me, it comes down to just being real.
Yeah.
Being who you are, not being afraid of that.
Totally.
So
that's awesome, guys. A song I wanted to ask you about is Hold On. I know it's one of your favorite songs, I understand. I've heard you say it before in past interviews. What is Hold On all about?
Oh, dang.
This is a really funny story, though. You have to tell that story.
So someone came up, and after a gig, we just played Hold On, and walked up and was like, so what's that song about? Still no good at this talking thing. And I tried to explain it, and I didn't say one thing that made sense that whole conversation. And that poor lady must have gone away so much more confused than when she walked up to me. And I went, well, that's what the song's about right there. It's basically just about not being able to communicate what's going on in your head, and feeling like, for those of us who do have a stutter, that's what I mentioned in the song, not necessarily saying I do, but just having all these thoughts in your brain that, you're wanting to try to get out in a song, but feeling like you can't communicate and being isolated and things like that. So
there's 12 tracks on the debut, right? Mm-hmm. So 4 of them, I think, came from the show, right? And then how quickly did the other 8 have to come about?
They were being written while we were on the show.
Yeah. Oh, they were? Yeah. Okay. So how long did you have to make the album after you were done taping the show?
Well, a handful of them were written before.
Okay.
Yeah, but then a lot of them were after. And then
we were recording while we were on the show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we would come back from LA and then record, be there for a couple days, and then go back, and
Yeah.
then it was nuts, but so fun
So
too.
fun.
Yeah.
Such a fun.
We
time.
didn't sleep.
whirlwind. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't even imagine. Something I have to ask. I saw on a vlog. I don't know when it happened. Whether it was before the show, during the show, or after. As a huge Back to the Future fan, you guys went to the clock tower.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Wow. Well, first off, where is that? So I can know. But then also, what was it? What was it like going there?
Yeah, it's in Universal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Duh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was amazing just to go back there and because I think the last time that we were there, we went on like the tour in Universal Studios, and you go back the back lot and everything. Oh my gosh, this is amazing! And then we were
Here,
back
to be
there
here, like, on a set.
filming
We were like, this
stuff
is
back
crazy.
There.
Yeah.
What
Our
the
rehearsal
world?
space for the show was literally like a 20-second
judge
walk
cuts
to
for the-
In Hill
Yeah.
Valley
Yeah.
almost, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. Now, I've heard, before we get to the fan questions, we've got a bunch on Twitter. I've heard some like rumblings of live shows coming up. Is there anything you can share? Is it still kind of
Rumble,
like.
rumble, rumble.
So I think we can say that it's official that we're announcing the dates tomorrow. So we're super
We're getting the
excited. I'm
thumbs up
looking.
back
I'm just
there.
making sure. We're announcing the dates tomorrow.
Bill's talking
I
already.
said it. We're good.
Well,
So
yes.
we're so excited. We're doing a nationwide tour all across the country. We were in LA on Monday. This week has been insane, but we were in LA on Monday, and the tour's all been planned, but we just laid out the map and just kind of visualized the whole thing, and it's so much better than we could have ever dreamed for a
yeah.
first tour. And yeah, we are so excited
and we're
to meet everybody.
headlining it.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Congratulations, guys. Just a quick round of applause, because that is really
Thank
like,
you.
for your first debut album, coming off that show, that's so cool. Nationwide. All right, let's get to some of these fan
Well,
questions.
real quick, I
Oh,
want
yeah.
to extend that applause to our team.
Yes, please.
That's-
For the
Yeah.
team.
It's been amazing. So thank you guys.
We don't have a shot of them, but I assure you they are back there. Let's get to your first Twitter question. It comes from Jess with a ton of S's _music. Here it is. Nice. When it comes to writing songs, do you write the lyrics first or the melody? Which is easier?
Ooh, talk about
Usually, well, going back, and I guess I really never talked about your question. This answers it. Basically, it's different every time. I love the analogy of, again, I write in a fog, and I can only see like a couple feet in front of me. And you just make decisions off of what is presented in that little space in front of you. But I definitely like to create an atmosphere. So whatever I'm doing, like if I'm trying to write something, I'll play chords that just make me feel something that I've never played before. But it's different every time. Like on Hold On, the rap section was written, those lyrics were written on an airplane back from an AGT thing. And just the lyrics, and then put the melody later. So it's different every time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jess, thank you for your question. Let's get to the second Twitter question. It comes from Juliana, who asked, what are you most looking forward to when going on tour?
Meeting the fans.
Yeah, is that the best?
Yeah, meeting their support. Oh, it's amazing.
Feeling ever.
Yeah.
It's cool because, we talk about, we keep harping on the 80 million views, right? But then when you put faces to the numbers,
Exactly.
it just must be like so rewarding, right?
And they've connected, like, especially to our song Lifeline, which is what the tour is called. It's called the Lifeline Tour. It's insane to see these people just belting the lyrics back to you, which for us, we can't express in words how much that means. But then going, and getting to meet them at meet and greets and different stuff, and they'll come up and tell a small story, and it's just like, yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's great if you can make a living, of course, but then also, on top of that, just to affect people's lives in the way that you guys are so early on in your career. That kind of is what's great about the platform of AGT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
for
reach so
sure.
many people.
Yeah.
So quickly, yeah.
It's awesome. All right, let's get to one more Twitter question before we run out of time. We got Crystal over here. If you guys could collab with one artist, who would it be?
This is a
What does that noise mean?
That means I don't know how to answer that question.
hard question. Yeah.
Okay, what about...
How about one,
It might have to
a
be-
different one from each?
We might have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Ed Sheeran or John Mayer.
Oh, okay. Why those two? Yeah. Manny's just breaking the rules. Well, why those two?
John Mayer he changed guitar playing for me. He made
Okay.
me realize that you don't have to be like technically the best guitar player. You just have to have a voice in your playing. And I think that was huge. And then Ed Sheeran for his songwriting.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. Bethany.
Maroon 5 or Julie Michaels. I'm doing two.
Okay.
And Maroon
Well,
5.
you must have loved that tour last year, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And Maroon
amazing.
5, I think, because they stay current with the times, like their music, I mean, they put out so much music, but it can change and evolve,
they
but
don't
it
get
still
enough
sounds
credit
like
for that.
them.
I'm
It's
actually really happy you said
amazing.
that. They've been around since 2002. Songs about
Yeah.
Jane came out in
Insane.
2002.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're a
they're
band,
still
and they're
hit.
killing it as a
Yeah.
band, which we love that. Yeah.
It's awesome. Joshua.
I'm gonna just say 21 Pilots.
Okay, yeah,
That would be-
totally.
that'd
That'd
be
be
so
rad. I'd like to see you and then Josh on the
Yeah.
drums.
I
That'd
would
be a
love
cool
that. I would
mashup.
love that.
All right, thank you for sending your Twitter questions. We're unfortunately out of time today, but guys, thank you so much for stopping by. And it sounds like
Thank
the
you.
Lifeline tour There's going to be details later this week. Stay tuned. One more time for We Three, everybody.
Thank you.